So it is, and that's all good. So hi everybody, it's Sheena here from KAPOW, your super business coach. Welcome to another of the fabulous masterclass series that I am hosting all throughout the year, where I am talking to a whole range of people that I know their onions. And this morning I am absolutely delighted to be joined by the one and only Jona Jacob. Jona, morning, welcome.
All right, very good, very good.
Good stuff. Jona, do you want to say hello to everybody and let them know a little bit more about you and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Jona Jacob, short for Jonathan. It's just my name since I was 10. I'm a photographer. I've been a photographer over 20 years professionally. Got into it when I was very young through my dad. And I mainly shoot a lot of car stuff, which is in the background. That's just a passion, but I shoot anything from business-related images for people, from head and shoulder shots to products, to your business and how you show that to your potential clients.
Because it's really important, I think, isn't it, that, you know, when people are thinking about great imagery, I mean, obviously we're able to see some of the examples of the photography that you've done that are appearing behind you. And I think that, you know, one of the things that I see quite a lot when I'm networking or when I'm going to connect with people on social media is, frankly, some fairly dodgy photography, you know, the kind of looks like it's been taken sort of at the end of a selfie stick kind of thing. And I think one of the first questions I really wanted to ask you, Jona, was, you know, why is good quality photography important for a personal brand and a business? What is it about it that means you really ought to invest in it rather than just taking a series of selfies?
Well, photography is a language. I'm not going to kind of go too uber critical, but really it's a language, and it's a language that we all read. It's the first thing that you read, be it online, print, or wherever. If there is an image, then you read that. Especially with video, we know video probably has more traction, but imagery just captures your eye straight away. So it's the first thing you read in an article. You'll see that even if it's a split second, you will kind of denote from it, kind of like the quality of the picture, how it's constructed, or if it's bad, your senses will be aware of that. But we are an image-led society in social media, so it's a real imperative to kind of tap into that and to know that that is a language in itself, and it draws people in, or it kind of puts people off in that sense.
And I think that's, you know, the last part of that is really important. You know, when we're talking about imagery and how it reflects your brand and your business, is also being really aware that bad photography is going to turn people off. You know, one of the things, and obviously you and I have known each other for a long time through a networking organization, and one of the things that you quite often talk about is, you know, telling people not to use stock photography, because I think certainly on websites, it's so obvious, isn't it, when someone's kind of gone, oh, I'll just take that from, and you can take it from there. What do you think it is that makes people resistant to investing in good photography? Do you think that they are not seeing the value?
I think so. It's a bit like myself when I set up myself 10 years ago now. First thing I employed in that sense was an accountant. I am no good, and I know there would be more efficient ways of claiming for things, you know, and I'm like, I need to get that sorted because I don't want to fall foul with the government in future. So kind of photography is probably not high on the agenda for a lot of people. So it's a bit like myself. If I do copy on my website, I'm slightly dyslexic, so I'm like, I know I'm not going to be good, so I'll get someone else to check it. So I know that's an area where I can invest in, and I should invest in. I haven't yet, but we're going to get to that stage, kind of thing. So it's just knowing what you're at and where you're at, and what actually does affect your business. And it's a lot easier to do stuff now with a phone. It's a lot easier to get a picture straight away. So it's probably more readily available to do it yourself, kind of thing.
And I think something certainly that I know, I mean, you know, I've been very lucky to have been photographed by you quite a long time ago now, at a regional area leaders conference where you were taking pictures for, you know, for the networking organization we both belong to, which is 4N. And, you know, I think one of the things that having a photographer that you know and trust to be part of how you present your personal brand and also how you present your business is that they will see you in a very different way from the way you see yourself. And, you know, I think that that can help you actually make sure that any photography that you're using, whether it's on your website, whether it's for social media, whether it's on, you know, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, they can actually help you put across your authentic you, probably a little bit better than you can, because you have an idea of what you want to present and they can see things differently. And, you know, one of the things that I also wanted to ask you, Jona, was what do you feel is the biggest mistake that people make when they are not quite ready to jump into employing somebody like you, which, let's face it, is a no-brainer. Do it, book him now before he gets really busy. But, you know, when they're thinking about, shall I, shan't I, and they're doing it themselves, what kind of mistakes do you see that you just think,
If obviously putting kind of just bad photography up, and I'll leave that as loose term as that is, but probably no photography at all. Either no photography or stock. Stock is great when used well. It is good, and that's what it's a phenomenal kind of part of the business, really. But just not showing yourself. If you provide a service like yourself and probably like me, people want to see your face.
Yeah.
So again, profile picture is just a massive one, but kind of it's that one where it's like, I've done it before in the past. I'm guilty of it, where you kind of go a group picture and you go, oh, I quite like myself in that. And it's kind of getting beyond. And if you don't get a picture of yourself because it's a picture of you full stop, you've got to get over that. Kind of, I don't like being in front of a camera. I don't like my own picture taken, but it's what people see. Unfortunately, this is what people see. So you've kind of got to get over it and kind of trust someone like myself. And there's other photographers, great photographers out there who kind of just see beyond that and then can try and capture you in the best way possible. Does that make any sense?
It does. It makes total sense, because, you know, I'm smiling and nodding at you there, because I don't think I've met anybody yet who says, I love having my picture taken, because, you know, it's quite, on one level, it's quite a vulnerable process. You know, you have an idea of how you present yourself to the world, and then somebody comes along, takes a picture, and you think, oh, crikey, I didn't think it look like that. And I think, you know, one of the great things about getting good photography is actually setting up in creating that trust with the person on the other side of the camera. You know, certainly, you know, we're recording this in January 2021. We're a week and a half into lockdown. And we had certainly planned to do a photo shoot before Christmas, but lockdown got in the way of that as well. And it's right up there on the top of my agenda when we are allowed to see each other again. But I think that, you know, one of the things certainly that I feel is, you know, to have somebody that, you know, you can trust to take pictures that you might not necessarily have asked for, you know, the kind of behind the scenes stuff. You took a great picture at that conference I was talking about from behind me as I'm talking to everybody. And, you know, they're not necessarily the images that you would think of taking yourself or can't take yourself. But I think from my perspective, one of the things that I would recommend is, you know, take your time to get to know a photographer that you want to use to help promote yourself and your business. And, you know, one of the ways you present yourself, as you're doing today, is there's lots of examples of the kind of photography that you take behind you in your Zoom background, and that helps people start to make decisions about what they want to do. If at the moment, of course, Jona, I can't come and have my photo session with you, sadly, but it will happen. We will make it happen. So if at this particular point somebody's looking to take, you know, either some imagery to promote a service, or maybe they're wanting to update a profile picture or something, and they've got no choice but to use their phone right now, what would be your top tip for them to get the best image that they can?
Okay, off the top of my head, if it's going to go for portrait, let's say, then try and get somebody else to take a portrait. Not kind of, don't do a selfie kind of thing. I'm going to try and do this very quickly. If you've got a plainish background, either a blank wall or something, and try and get towards a window, not direct light, so it's harsh. So either a window where the sun, where it's on the shadow side of the sun, shall we say, so it's natural light still coming in, and face the window, not directly or just slightly off, and just look at how your kind of shadows play on your face to give a bit of texture and a bit of depth. And try not to kind of do this kind of thing. I'm not a great portrait photographer, but little things that I kind of try and help is always just come off a little bit, so it's not flat on, a little off, and then try and have a think. When I say on your neck, just either tilt that way or that way and see what's look. Because when you talk to people, you don't naturally sit square on. You kind of have a little, just a little relaxed kind of thing, and it's not a slouch, but it's like that. So get someone else to take a picture kind of on there. And thing to remember as well is when you take a picture of yourself, the picture you see in a mirror is a reverse of what a normal picture is. So if you've got a face a bit like me with a fairly big nose that goes to one side, and I've got one ear sticks out the other, and I'm more on one side and not, I'm used to seeing those features in an orientation where a camera would see it a different way. Yeah. Something else just to kind of think about. And also, if you're going to use your phone for either a product, if you've got like, even if you've got a pen with your logo on, what I call little ditty shots. So a close-up shot of the pen, pad pen, sounds really daft, but those little ditty shots, as I call them, you know, can be used so many times in, you know, social media, bottom of your web page, and bottom of your email, on a quick meme you're going to make or something like that. And try either going wide on your phone and lens, or kind of try and go zoom in. Try and kind of just do the extremities and try different angles. The last thing I'm going to say is you see pictures. I'm 6'3", so I'm fairly tall. So you see pictures from like 6'4", shall we say, to about 5'5". That's the normal head height where people view the world. If there's a picture that's taken like from the floor up or looking head down, it catches your attention because you don't normally view the world that way. So like when drone shots came in, and it was all the rage, I think, because it's just an unusual. I think it's more, we've got used to that now. So I hope those are two kind of, there's a lot more to get into it, but hopefully it's just two things. If in doubt, just get in touch with me. I'd rather give advice and see people use what they've got to the best of their ability than to kind of, if a couple of advice words are going to help you, I'd rather do that than just kind of see people kind of fall over too many times. Is that all right? Does that kind of, I've waffled on? Hope that makes sense.
I'm sitting there thinking, turn to one side, tilt head, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, there's no formulaic in that. That's just something like a starter place to get kind of, and shrug your shoulders. It's a bit that kind of, if you've been married or you've been in a place where you've got to pause all the time, you're oldie. I'm going back decades now. Doesn't happen that often now, but if you're kind of constantly smiling, just relax. Yeah. Just relax.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
And the best thing, of course, is that, you know, if anybody does want to pick your brain, I'm going to be sharing all the ways that you can connect and make touch with Jona, to not only get his advice if you've got a question, but also to take another look at some of the awesome photography that he has done, and hopefully decide that he is going to be the guy to be your photographer going forward in your business. Jona, thank you so much for giving me your time today.
Pleasure.
Hugely appreciate it. It's been fabulous to chat to you. Stay tuned, everybody. There are more Masterclass series coming up all throughout the year with more fabulous subject matter experts just like Jona. I'm going to make sure that you get all the information you need to get in touch with Jona and connect with him. It's going to be after this live part of the video. All that remains for me to do is to thank you again, Jona. Thank you so much, and say goodbye, everybody, and we'll see you next time.